Hello guys, welcome to Rajput Auditorial, subject economics and a very interesting chapter 3A, demand analysis. Today I will explain a small part of this chapter, which is law of demand and its assumption. Don't worry guys, it is from the new syllabus of the academic year 2020 and 21. So after watching this video, that I assure you that you all will be able to write the law of demand very properly and its assumption also. So let's move ahead towards our topic. So what is law of demand? If you all want to learn this in detail, then you all can go and watch in my previous video. I have explained it very properly and in a very interesting way. In this video I will explain you in short what is law of demand, as this video is for explaining you all what is law and its assumption. So I will explain the law of demand in short. So what does the law of demand contains? If it comes in your exam, what is the points you all have to cover in it, and for how many marks does it comes for? So let's start that what is law of demand. The points which you will have to write in your answer are meaning of demand. The next thing is introduction, then the statement of law, then you all have to explain the functional relationship, then you will explain the symbolical representation, then individual demand schedule, then you all will draw the demand curve, then the characteristics also you all have to write. Then it is optional to write the market demand schedule. If you all want, then you all can write. If you all don't want, then you all cannot. But for expressing a good impression, you all have to write it in your answer paper. For how many marks does it comes for? The law of demand comes for 4 marks. If they have asked you all what is the assumption or exception, then it will be for 8 marks. But if it is for 4 marks, then you all have to write only this much points, and I assure you, if you all will cover this all points, you all will get all the 4 marks. No marks will go. So let's move ahead towards assumptions of law of demand. The reason we are watching this video. So what is assumption of law of demand? First of all, the assumption contains, I will explain you what does the assumption contains. As we all know that demand curves moves from left to right in a downward direction towards the x-axis. So here are some assumptions which we make to move the demand curve in a proper direction. So if these assumptions are not followed, so the demand curve will not move in a proper direction in which it should move. So let's move ahead towards the point of assumption of law of demand. The first point is constant level of income. Yes, it is assumed that if there is any change in the level of income of the consumer, then the demand will also change. The law of demand will not operate, and because of this reason the demand curve will not move in a proper direction. So let's read the point. If the law of demand is to find true operate, then consumers' income should remain constant. If there is a rise in income, people may demand more at a given price. Yes, of course, if there is a rise in the income of the person, the demand for the particular commodity will rise even at a higher price. So next point is no change in population. As I have explained this all point in very detailed way in my previous video, I will explain you in this also that what happens if there is a change in the demand, if there is a change in the population, what does it affect demand? It is assumed that the size of the population remains unchanged. So what is it assumed? That the population should not change. If there is a sudden rise in the population, the the demand for the baby product will rise even at a higher price. So it is assumed that the size of the population should remain constant, otherwise the demand will also rise or fall. It is assumed that the size of population remains unchanged. As I explained you, it is written the same over here. Any change in the size and composition of population of a country affects the total demand for the product. So yes, of course, when there is a rise in the population, the demand will also rise. Let's move ahead towards our next point, which is price of substitute good remains constant. What is substitute goods? The substitute goods are those goods which are similar but not same, but not exactly same. They are similar but not exactly same. It is assumed that the price of the substitute remains unchanged. Any change in the price of the substitute will affect the demand for a commodity. Yes, of course. I will give you an example. Suppose I will go in the shop to buy tea. When I ask the shopkeeper to give me tea and the price of tea has risen very much, so what will I think? It is very costly, so I will buy any substitute for it. That is coffee. I will take the coffee just because the price of tea has risen so much that I am not comfortable with that price. So what happens is the demand for tea falls because the price for tea has risen. So over here what happens is the demand for the original commodity falls and the demand for substitute commodity rises. So here it is given, the rise in the price of original commodity will cause demand of substitute good will rise. So I hope that you all have understood what I explained you. Let's move towards the next point, which is very interesting. Price of complementary goods remains constant. Yes, of course, the price of complementary goods should also remain constant in this case, because it is assumed that the price of complementary good remains unchanged, because a change in the price of one good will affect the demand for other. Yes, of course, when suppose we have to buy a car, but the rise in the price of petrol has made us very tensed. As we will buy car, there will be we will demand for petrol, and just because there is a rise in the price of petrol, we will demand less of the car. They are jointly demanded, na? The complementary demand is also known as joint demand, because here what happens is two commodities are demanded jointly. So in this case, rise in the price of complementary good causes fall in the demand of the other. In my example, I explained you the demand for car has fallen just because there is a rise in the price of petrol. So let's move towards the next point, which is no expectation about future change in price. So no expectation means what? The consumer should not keep any expectation towards the price, because when the consumer starts expecting certain changes in the price, the demand gets affected very drastically. I will give you an example. If there is a slight rise in the price of the commodity, hear me properly. If there is a slight rise in the price of the commodity, the consumer expects further rise, and because of this, the demand rises even at a higher price. अगर ज़रा भी किसी भी कमोडिटी के प्राइस में थोड़ा सा बढ़ोतरी होती है, मतलब थोड़ा भी अगर किसी सपोज आई वेंट टू बाय अ नोटबुक विच वॉज ऑफ 20 rupees and the shopkeeper told me that the price of the book will rise tomorrow at 40 rupees. So what will I do? I will buy the book at 20 rupees and I will not think, what I thought is अगर कल ये बुक का प्राइस और बढ़ जाएगा तो मुझे और महंगा पड़ जाएगा. तो what I did is I demanded more of the book even at a higher price. So this should not happen in the case of assumption. There should be no expectations of the consumer towards any commodity. So here what happens is a slight rise in the price causes demand will also rise. So this should not happen. The consumer should not expect any future change in price. Let me read it. It is assumed that consumer do not expect any further change in price in the future. If the consumer expects a rise in price in future, they may demand more in present even at existing high price. As I explained you all would have understood. So let's move towards the next point, which is no change in taste, habit, preferences, fashion, etc. Yes. Suppose for certain clothes which are out of fashion, we stop buying it even if they are made available at a lower price. So here what happens is the demand for out of fashion clothes falls even at a lower price. So here the price moves towards the downward direction and the demand also moves towards the downward direction. The demand falls even at a lower price. So here there should be no change in the taste, habit, preferences, fashion, etc. Let me read it. It is assumed that consumer taste, habit, preferences, fashion, etc. should remain unchanged. Any change in this factor will lead to change in demand. If there is a change in taste, habit, preferences, etc., there will be change in demand. The triangle shape stands for change. You all would be knowing it. Hope so. If not, then you all can understand from this. The next point is no change in taxation policy. Yes, of course, it is assumed that there should be no change in the taxation policy of the government. If there is a change, the demand will have a change in it also. Taxation policy of the government has a great impact on demand for various goods and services. If the taxation policy of the government rises, the demand for the particular commodity will fall. Suppose we go to buy a product in the shop. The price of the product is proper, but the tax on it is very high. So we will stop demanding that particular commodity. So here what happens is exactly the taxation policy of the government rises, the demand for it falls. So here it is, the rise in the taxation policy causes fall in the demand. So what we all learned is all the assumptions and law of demand in short. Hope that you all would have learned it properly and understood also. If you all have any query regarding it, you all can ask me in the comment section. I will solve it properly. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you would like, comment, share and subscribe this video. In my next video, you all can go and watch exception of law of demand, and I have also explained you what is the feature of demand, what is effective demand and what is the meaning of demand very properly in my previous video. Thank you so much.